Well, good evening and a happy Sunday to you. I'm Meteorologist Brandon Lashbrook with a check of the tropics for you for today, as we have several areas to watch for development over the next couple days and next week. We have two waves in the Atlantic and one invest area in the Gulf of Mexico, which is now newly designated potential tropical cyclone 6, which we're going to dive into, as that will have some impacts to the U.S. over this upcoming week. But quickly checking our bases in, we have two waves in the Atlantic. We're going to talk about those real quick. We have Invest 92L with a high chance of development over the next 7 days as it kind of slowly moves off into the west-northwest. We'll be watching that one closely too, with plenty of time to watch that one. Just behind it, though, we have no disturbance. That is showcasing some disorganized shower and storm activity. Not really expecting development within the next 2 days, but notice off the coast of Africa some more convection, some storms. That will be another tropical wave moving off the coast, and that may interact with this disturbance and therefore have a medium chance of some development over the next 7 days as it moves generally off into the west and northwest. So plenty of time to watch those two disturbances. However, closer to home, we have this potential tropical cyclone 6 with that high chance of development over the next couple days, as we are expecting a tropical storm to form within the Gulf of Mexico by tomorrow, by Monday. So that's why we have the potential tropical cyclone 6 tag, that PTC tag. All that means is that a tropical storm is expected within 48 hours, so we can get a forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, and we can get those potential tropical storm watches and or warnings for coastal areas, as there is a tropical storm, I think we watch for portions of coastal Mexico. You see the satellite loop right now is kind of cutting out at the end, but we still see some of these disorganized showers and some storms on it. However, though, you see some of these more white colors and those more pink colors popping off just to the east of the coastline there. That's showcasing some really deep cloud tops, some cold cloud tops, indicating that we have some strong storms developing in that portion of the Gulf of Mexico. And so another view is the visible satellite. We have some of these showers and storms still over the area, and I want to point out, you can kind of see a little bit in the lower levels, these smaller clouds near the surface, a little bit of that broad circulation with these northeasterly winds right there, and then the southwesterly winds right here. It's not a tropical cyclone just yet because there is no well-defined center of circulation. Therefore, we have that PTC tag on it. However, it is forecast to become a tropical storm over the next day or so, and the hurricane hunters are in there right now investigating this system, collecting data that will be used in the upcoming forecast as we go through this week. So, what do we know right now? A tropical storm is expected to form by tomorrow, by Monday. That would be Tropical Storm Francine. We may even see a hurricane form out of this as well before we make a landfall. Now, the exact track and the intensity will, of course, be fine-tuned over the next couple days, as the system is currently in the early stages of its formation. Again, not exactly a tropical cyclone yet, so some of the models are placing the low in different spots, and so that will, of course, affect the eventual development and progress of the system within those individual model runs that you may be seeing. Now, so of course, the specific impacts will be highly dependent on, of course, the exact track and the size, structure, and intensity of this system. But generally, what we could expect, I think a good bet would be some heavy rainfall for portions of Louisiana that could bring back that flash flooding threat, of course, along with some gusty tropical storm force winds, maybe some hurricane force winds for a portion of the coastline as well, and of course a little bit a messy weather day for portions of the lower Mississippi Valley by Wednesday and into Thursday. So here's the official forecast track. Has a tropical storm forming by tomorrow, by Monday, moving to the northwest and then turning to the north, kind of hugging the coastline of Mexico and Texas into Tuesday. From there on, moving to the north and northeast, the official forecast does have a Category 1 storm making landfall somewhere from southeast Texas coastline, or southeast Texas in general, into western and southwestern Louisiana for a landfall location. So again, don't put too much stock in that exact center line, as that will likely change and shift over the coming days, but a landfalling location generally near and around the Texas-Louisiana coastline. Again, we all know that tropical storm or hurricane impacts always occur well outside of that cone of uncertainty as well. So even if you're not in that cone, impacts can still occur to your location as well. That's the potential landfall sometime around Wednesday night into early Thursday, and then eventually moving off to the northeast, weakening the United system, then moving into the Tennessee River Valley by Thursday into Friday into the weekend. So a lot of the forecast models, here are some of these spaghetti models, are actually in pretty good agreement on the system, moving it into the western Gulf of Mexico, moving to the northeast, and then the landfall somewhere near Houston up into the Louisiana, Texas border, into maybe the Lake Charles area. So all those are fair game for a landfall. Of course, we're going to be watching that very closely over the next day or so. So we're going to kind of get into some of the model content that we have. This is the moisture content in the atmosphere. You see a lot of this tropical moisture in the northern Gulf of Mexico. That's to the south of us here in southeast Louisiana and Baton Rouge. So today, for Sunday, we had a dry day and sunshine for our day. Notice all the tropical moisture begins to move to the south and southwest and kind of combines to where we have our PTC6, that invest area in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. All that moisture will begin to foster a more conducive environment for some development. Therefore, a tropical storm is expected by tomorrow as that low begins to move to the north and then begins to move to the northeast. Notice all that increased tropical moisture begins to move into our area, or to our neck of the woods here in Louisiana, or as early as Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're going to be seeing some increased rain chances and then potentially a landfalling or so by Wednesday, with conditions continuing to deteriorate into Wednesday into Thursday as well. So again, that's just one model run, and kind of want to look at what's kind of steering this as well. So there's our low in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. We have our high just to the east. As we go into tomorrow, notice that high pressure center, it really builds in over Cuba, over the northern Caribbean, and southern and southeastern Gulf of Mexico. And so what that's going to do is going to help steer our storm to the north. And then after that, it's going to kind of not move too much, and so therefore it's going to allow more of a northeasterly turn into, say, Louisiana or, of course, southeast Texas. So again, that's just a GFS model run. We have other models to keep an eye on and of course, look at. Here's another model run. Here's our in-house model, our Barron 3K model, kind of showcasing what we could expect rain-wise here in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. We have, again, dry conditions for the rest of today, for Sunday. And tomorrow will be mainly dry as well. Maybe see some more clouds out there, a little bit more humidity. It's going to feel a little bit hotter as well. And the best rain chance for your Monday will be later in the afternoon for more so our coastal areas. You see down near the extreme coastline, maybe our southern parishes, seeing that rain chance as we go into the evening hours as well. Now this model has our storm down just off the coast of Texas, moving to the north and northeast, and you see here in Louisiana and Baton Rouge, by Tuesday, our rain chances, they do begin to increase as we have tropical moisture that's going to kind of overspread into the area, moving off to the north, even well out ahead of the system. So that's going to increase our rain chances into Tuesday night as well. Then the system will eventually begin to move to the northeast, as this model shows, and bring us more rain as we go into the overnight hours into Wednesday. Now that's as far out as this particular model goes. So here's another one. Here's Barron 15K model. Here's where we have our low moving to the north as we go into Monday, as we go into Tuesday as well, and kind of consolidating, bring all that rainfall over water. Notice the center of the storm with this model keeps it over water, which would favor a little bit more of that strengthening, that more so intensification, as opposed to if it was over land, kind of limiting its structure. This particular model does bring it into the lake, around the Lake Charles, Beaumont area between the Louisiana and Texas state line there, into early Tuesday or early Thursday morning rather. So regardless of the exact track or the exact intensities, what are some of the impacts that we could expect? Well, we could be seeing some more bands of some heavier rainfall moving over our area. Of course, some tropical storm force winds will be possible as well, of course, across portions of Louisiana, as well as maybe a tornado threat to materialize, as we would be here in Baton Rouge in the southeast Louisiana region, would be on the eastern side likely of the system, which means we're more on the messy, wet side of a system, which would have that lower end tornado threat to watch for. So again, rainfall though will likely be more so on the heavier side. So on Tuesday, you see that best chance for some heavy rainfall to maybe bring some flash flooding will be along the coastal regions where that slight risk is. By Wednesday, all of the area will have that chance for some heavy bands of rainfall, which could lead to some isolated areas of some flash flooding to watch for, as we're all under that slight risk on Wednesday as well. So rainfall totals on an average maybe around 3 to 4 inches across our area, about 4 to 5 plus inches possible. The more south and southwest you go toward the Lake Charles region, maybe near Port Arthur, and maybe even seeing 6 or 7 inches of rain. Again, these particular numbers may change over the next couple days, and thankfully the system will be moving off at a good pace, not expecting any stalling or slowing down, so that will decrease that more widespread flooding chance that could materialize if it were to be slower. That's good news there, and of course we could see some locally higher amounts possible than these exact numbers in some localized areas. So here's one graphic that I want to show you that's good to look at. So we're in that day 3 to 4 range of potential impacts for our area. So what could we realistically expect and look at as of right now? So again, have caution with that cone. That cone only shows you where the center of the storm may go. Impacts will likely occur outside of that cone. So in the day 4 range, you want to identify outcomes. Look at your official forecast, look at the reasonable worst case scenarios, and understand the range of outcomes on the track and strength as well. Day 3, you want to prepare for impacts. You can look at those high resolution models. You identify what we could expect and what the winds and rain could look like in your typical towable spots, and keep an eye on, let's say, your official forecast and local officials as well, and maybe get some of your supplies in order too. Make sure you have some water, make sure you have fuel as well if you need to evacuate beforehand. So that's where we kind of generally are in that day 3 to 4 range. We want to keep an eye on the expert analysis as well. So again, we're going to have more updates for you daily as we go over this week before we see impacts occur from the system. So thankfully though, here in Baton Rouge, tomorrow for Monday will be more so on the dry side. Outside of maybe a few showers, highs will be in the upper 80s. Tuesday we'll see more rain, showers, and storms kind of roll into the area as we go into the afternoon to evening hours, highs in the lower 80s. And then Wednesday, likely the day, we're going to see conditions will deteriorate with maybe some winds increasing to gusty winds, maybe tropical storm force winds, a possibility by Wednesday with numerous showers and storms, some of it heavy at times. And then Thursday, still going to see some lingering showers and some storms. And thankfully, most models trending with the system moving down here by Friday. So by Friday into the weekend, we're on the drier side with highs into about the mid to upper 80s by then. So that's it for right now for this tropical update. Again, keep an eye on the forecast daily and with each update that comes out. Of course, we will have more for you each and every day, morning and evening, on air and online at brproud.com. So for the Storm Tracker team, meteorologist Brandon Lashbrook.